Good evening, everyone. Severe Other Team 9 meteorologist Nate the Chut joining you for this edition of Nate at 8. And we have an even colder morning upon us for your Friday before temperatures start to climb back up by the weekend. And we'll stay not as cold. I wouldn't say warm, but not as cold as we go in throughout next week. Still serious to some chilly mornings, but likely not into the 30s like what we're going to get for tomorrow morning. And while we do stay dry into the weekend, we will be watching. We'll discuss some rain chances that we could see return for the weekend before dry conditions are likely again early next week. That is some of what we're going to be talking about for this edition of Nate at 8. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to this edition. So without further ado, let's jump into things, shall we? And we start off talking about those temperatures. Because again, this is going to be the main story as we do extend into your Friday. Our current temperatures now are falling even into the 40s across a good portion of the region. And that, again, temperature is still going to drop likely another about 10 degrees, even for those locations that have already fallen into the 40s going into tomorrow morning. And this is coming off of highs that topped off near that 60-degree mark, 63 to Philadelphia, 60 Wheeling, 60 Pittsburgh. This is the coolest high temperature that we've had since the very end of May, and also the coolest low temperature this morning that we had below 40 degrees at 39 at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport since May 9th. So the coolest temperatures that we've witnessed here in the Ohio Valley since May arrived for today. And again, tomorrow, those high temperatures are going to start to trend actually a little warmer tomorrow afternoon, but our low temperatures, yes, are going to be trending even colder thanks to those clear skies and light winds that will likely be in place as we extend into tomorrow morning. So how cold? Well, about mid-upper 30s likely across the area. A chilly start tomorrow. And again, just to seeing those temperatures drop a few more degrees with respect to what we have for today, that's cold enough where now frost is going to be much more in the equation for locations into tomorrow morning. And notice the locations that are likely going to be trending a bit cooler, especially into locations more north of I-70, near I-70. Those areas likely trending a little bit cooler with respect to locations south of I-70. Still could get an instance, especially south of I-70, where we notice the locations in sheltered valleys where a lot of the cold air is sinking down into these valleys where that typically trend cooler with respect to other locations. If you notice that your temperatures are always trending a little bit colder and you're living down into a valley, into locations near south of I-70, then you could very well be in the mix as well in terms of dealing with some frost for tomorrow morning. And I preface that because as we go into the frost advisory, I know that a lot of locations near and south of I-70, not under it, but again, doesn't mean we can't see at least some frost in those areas as well. It's just the best chance to wake up to some frost tomorrow morning are locations under that frost advisory, which again, highlighting locations north of I-70, as well as into Guernsey County there near that I-70 corridor. Those locations under the frost advisory have the best chance to see some frost tomorrow morning. Those locations have the best chance to see lows near the mid-30s tomorrow morning. Frost advisory goes into effect at midnight, continues until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So if you're tuning in under that frost advisory, you still have some plants outside that you may want to cover up and protect tonight from the frost, uncover it, and then again, we don't have to worry about it now then for the foreseeable future past tonight. It's not, we won't have to go back out and cover them up again tomorrow night and Saturday morning because low temperatures at that point are even back towards the mid 40s, and we're even near 50 Sunday, Monday morning. So not nearly as cold for those overnight lows by the weekend. And that looks to carry over to next week, where we likely string together more 40s for overnight lows likely through next week. So what we have tomorrow morning looks to be the coldest morning for the foreseeable future looking ahead. Joe, good evening. Hope you had a good day. Thanks for doing this. Well, thank you, Joe. I did. Hopefully you had a great day as well. Thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Nate at 8. So when we jump into Futurecast, outside of that chilly start to tomorrow, it's a quiet day across the Ohio Valley. A lot of sunshine. It's going to look similar to what we had for today, again, for your Friday. Blue skies and sunshine. And again, chilly start, but those high temperatures in back closer towards that 70-degree mark. A little warmer with respect to what we had for today, likely for your Friday. Notice a few more clouds mixing in for Friday night. Still mostly clear. Again, not as cold going into Saturday morning. Low temperatures back even towards the mid-40s Saturday morning. Then a mix of sun and clouds will follow throughout the day on Saturday. We're going to start off the weekend dry. However, by the time we get into Sunday, certainly not a washout, but we do then have that potential to spot some showers as we do extend into your Sunday. Just as Futurecast is hinting at, maybe a little more shower activity than what Futurecast is showing, but certainly not a washout, right? And certainly not a repeat of earlier this week. We're not going to be picking up nearly as much rain, but some showers are on the table for Saturday night into Sunday. It's possible to spot some showers. A lot of it then tapers off Sunday night and will dry back up by Monday. Just something to keep in mind. Nothing to alter plans for, I don't think, going throughout the weekend. Still, go for any outdoor plans into Sunday. Just keep in mind, may have to dodge that round of rain or two for anything planned outdoors. So an increase in cloud cover Saturday, more cloud cover Sunday. In addition to showers, those high temperatures likely hold back in the 60s, while Saturday we're topping off closer to that 70-degree mark. Low temperature even closer to 50 degrees Saturday night, with the additional cloud cover in place for Saturday morning or for Friday night. Low temperatures back mid 40s. And again, tomorrow morning is our one cold morning that we'll have as we go through the weekend, as those low temperatures anticipated to be in the mid to upper 30s. Renee, good evening. Nice to see some fall weather. Certainly much more on par with those seasonable temperatures, those average temperatures this time of the year. And Shelly saying burr. And yeah, absolutely. Putting the burr in October, huh? That is for sure, with these overnight lows in the 30s last night and again for tonight, before we'll climb back into the 40s for Saturday morning. But yes, certainly getting that chill to the air. There's no doubt about it. Coming off of those highs in the 80s last weekend, and well, suddenly much more of a seasonal feel, right? Certainly turned much more seasonable quickly on us this week, coming off those highs in the 80s for 3 days in a row, and no 80s in sight. Although again, we do trend a little bit warmer into the weekend. We'll trend a little bit warmer into the middle of next week as well. Another cool down then likely follows late next week, maybe sneaking back towards the 30s. That would be the next Saturday morning, low near 40 degrees. But as it stands now, the coolest morning here as we go over at least the next week, a rise for tomorrow morning. A lot of more 40s for those overnight lows, which is pretty much on par. You see the normal high, normal low, mid upper 60s, mid upper 40s. And for a lot of these days, we're not far from that. So this is a pretty seasonable stretch of weather. Overall can come out a little bit above normal, but not by a lot, right? We're not tracking a major warm up as we go throughout the next week, and not tracking a really cold spell for this time of the year either. So a pretty average middle of October weather coming our way as we go over the next week. A lot of this does end up dry and getting some showers on the table for Sunday. We're not going to be piling up a half inch to an inch of rain or more like what we saw earlier this week. Rainfall amounts would likely even stay less than a half of an inch across the area, if not closer to a quarter of an inch. We're not going to be dealing with near as much rain, but some showers can be possible Sunday and even some Saturday night. By Monday into Tuesday, then again, the rain threat falls off, can pick back up. Maybe we can sneak in some additional showers with a cold front passage Wednesday and into Thursday, but see if we can get enough moisture in line with that frontal passage. It could be a situation where we notice that front pass and the temperatures start to drop off, but there's not enough moisture present with that frontal passage to actually produce any showers. So we'll see if we could sneak in some more showers around the middle of next week. And then after that, into that following weekend, maybe we could sneak in some more showers. Certainly not good model agreements on that. And it's certainly, there's a lot of uncertainty at this point that following weekend. But that is another period we'll be watching for that potential for some showers. So middle of next week, the following weekend, maybe some showers around that point, but certainly does not look likely at this time. So if you're placing bets, stay dry. That's the current bet around the middle of next week and even in that following weekend. But those are the other two time periods we'll watch as we progress throughout the next several days. Maybe have to up rain chances. If not, then completely drop them off. So that's we're watching at this point for the following periods of some showers once we get past on Sunday. Overall, this is not a wet pattern. This is still not a wet pattern in place over the next 10 days. It's just there is some potential for showers, but still overall, it looks to be a dry pattern that remains in place. And again, fairly seasonable when it comes to our temperatures as Well, thanks so much for tuning in. It was great to be able to do our edition of 8 to 8 on these Thursday evenings. We've been having a lot of our high school football action on Thursdays. And of course, for tomorrow, don't forget to watch some high school football action if you're heading out to those games. Certainly will be the coolest Friday night football games so far for this season. Again, these temperatures, they drop off pretty quickly around this time. So don't forget, you want to dress a little bit warmer tomorrow evening. Certainly won't have to worry about any precipitation, but we'll see a few clouds in the mix into Friday night as temperatures will start to drop into the 50s, likely even for our game time temperatures. So it will be a cool Friday night, and it will be a quiet Friday night. Going to be really a nice night. One of those nights you typically think more of for football weather, the little chill to the air for Friday night football games. And it definitely screams more of that fall football weather for Friday nights. It should be really nice tomorrow night for high school football action. Of course, stay tuned tomorrow night for watch high school football action, Friday Night Rivals game of the week, as well as Sports Friday on the Go with Don Sloan, Bill Phillips. You can catch both of those on streaming. You can watch Sports Friday on the Go on our YouTube channel, WTOV News 9 YouTube channel, and catch Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week on Facebook. Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week coming up for tomorrow evening. Until then, of course, you can always catch me coming up News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11 tonight, as well as tomorrow before we get to our games, News 9 live at 5 at 6 tomorrow evening. But I'll see all of you on that next edition of 8 at 8 next week on Monday, as again, we'll have some high school football action tomorrow evening. So until then, I hope everyone can stay warm, but at least bundle up a little bit for tomorrow morning. It may have shocked you a little bit this morning, right? We haven't been accustomed to these temperatures since early May. It's last time we dealt with lows in the 30s. So it's been some time. I feel like those first mornings in the 30s can always be a little shock to the system in terms of how cold it is. Just it's a matter of what we're accustomed to, right? Same could be said on the flip side. The first day, temperatures climb into the 80s, if not 90s, and we've been accustomed to the cold, and then it feels quite warm to us. And especially the humidity as well. That first days of the season where it starts to turn muggy on us, and it almost feels unbearably humid, even though dew points are just getting into the 60s. It really is amazing just how it just depends on what we've been accustomed to. It really does. And this first days, whether it be cold, hot, humid, those first days when we're kind of adjusting to it can always be a little bit of a shock to the system. Sean, good evening from Wrigley Field. Very cool. Well, good evening. Thanks for joining in from Wrigley Field, Sean. That's awesome. Hope you have a good time there at Wrigley Field. I appreciate it. As always, again, everyone, hope you have a great night, great weekend. Soak up some more sunshine before we get there. And I'll see all of you for that following edition of 8 at 8 coming up on next Monday. Have a great night and a great weekend.